Hello, everyone. Okay, we're back. It's extra bonus session. Okay, wait for some people to be in the comments. It's almost cake time. Yes, it is. No, Al, do this. Okay, for those who don't know, but people in the FFA do. My children, to celebrate with my children, when a book would finish, is we buy a cake. And I actually told my daughter this last night when I took her to a slumber party. I pick her up today at 3:00. She's like, hey, I was like, hey, I think I'm going to finish a book and we're going to be publishing it probably like next week. She's like, cake? I was like, yes, cake. She's like, it's been years since we've had cake. And I'm like, I know. So we're going to get cake. I do a birthday cake for all of my books that I publish. So it's going to be exciting. And this will probably be the first book that's published that is publicly acknowledged as being written with Raptor right, and here you go and all that. I will suffer the slings and arrows, but for real, it's fun. Anybody who's been watching these can see that it is not the AI. It is me, AI enhanced. If you don't bring your A game to the AI, you're just going to get crap out of the AI. You have to be a good writer coming into the AI. It's just a tool to make you faster. All right, let's say some hellos. Hello to Ashling. Hello. I've seen all my people, and Ingrid's in the house. Stacy Anderson, one of the staff members of FFA. Danny is in the house, and Harper is in the house saying it's a cool idea to have cake for books. Yeah, we should have always cake for books. And Mania is in the house. Welcome. All right, here's my plans for right now. I will confess I did a little bit of work in our downtime because I ate my potatoes that my dad made for me. So that's all done. And hello, McKinley. Oh, I accidentally did a thumbs up. Al points out anyone can use Photoshop, but it takes skill and knowledge to be good at it. Exactly. I think that is really what AI is. If you are a brilliant designer with ideas and you come into Photoshop and you learn that tool, it can make you a better designer in terms of what you can produce and how fast you can go and all of that. The same thing is for writing with AI. If you are writing with AI, so the topic of this video is AI finish this novel. But really it's me who's finishing this novel. It's me. The AI does nothing. It sits inert unless I tell it commands and I tell it what to do. That's what we're going to do. Oh, Rick is here after a quick nap. I'm jelly. I'll take naps later. All right, so let me go ahead and share some news really fast. Number one, at the end of the last live, Baby Raptor got fixed. So it was like 1 hour from when we had a bug and we had like a slight issue, and then our developer was able to fix it. Woo, woo. We love Joseph. Baby Raptor should not have impacted anybody because it's not production Raptor. But Baby Raptor is all good to go. And I have a quick little surprise. Hey, Kim. I'm going to add to the stage. Okay, I had to do another restart. Okay, so here is what I'm going to do. So I'm in Raptor right. I'm going to settings. I'm going to project. I'm going to save my project. Always save my project. While I was off camera, I did take my projects from Raptor right, since I had to work in that this morning, and brought them over to Baby Raptor right. So you can look at my URL. I'm in Baby Raptor right now. Okay, so the AI code here. I'm going to show you how the top models does not have anything after turbo. See, the top models, there's just turbo right there. Well, let's go ahead and refresh Baby, shall we? So we give Baby a good refresh. I'm going to log in to regular Raptorite. And the way you get to Baby is the second horn right here. Baby is open to everybody. It's just, it might be buggy like we had this morning because it's where things get pushed that haven't been done yet. And you'll see here, I added, Joseph just pushed a refresh to the server. We now have Gemini Flash 8B 1.5 experimental and Gemini Flash 1.5 experimental added to the top 10 models at the bottom here. I have not used them yet. I added them to the top 10 models because it literally just dropped today. Let's just take it for a spin, shall we? I'm going to load a project. I'm going to load Moralities of Marriage. Load. I've been working on chapter 23. I'm going to delete some of these things that I don't want. Actually, yeah. Okay. So I'm going to toggle everything on. not various prompts. I'm going to toggle off the potential extra scene with Darcy, toggle off story notes, toggle off this one in chat, and chapter 27. So I'm going to let it just have chapter 26, which is not finished now. I'm going to go to settings and configure prompts and make sure we're all good here. I will add back in the prompts that I had about this book is a variation of Pride and Prejudice. So it's important to know that even though you might be familiar with character names in this story, they have gone through different story plot elements, which has changed them. So I'll save that. So I'm giving a lot of context here. If I preview my prompt, this is 89,000 tokens that I'm sending. Okay. So 10 clicks of this would hit like 1 million tokens. That's the important thing to remember. So I'm going to come down here to, let's see here. Is this one blank? We'll make it blank. We'll clear that out. We'll bring it right here. And I'm going to say, what's next? And I'm going to say, read the entire story above and detail for me for each chapter any problems with the plot or characterization and how to finish this book. All right, this is not a great prompt. I don't expect great things from this, but I am pushing the envelope of how much stuff is out there. So I'm going to go to the new experimental 1.5 flash. I'm going to go 16,000. It can actually write back 32,000. I'll bump the temperature down to 0.6. And this is the maiden voyage for FFA with Google Flash 8B 1.5 experimental. Say in the chat, what's your bet? Now, this is a model that is not as smart as Google 1.5, Gemini 1.5 Pro. This is the Flash model. This is the model that is the super fast, super cheap, and right now it's absolutely free. There's a quick question. Does Baby Raptor load faster? Loading a 10K short story keeps crashing. Yes. Go ahead and use Baby Raptor, Al. It's got some stability that's going to be moved into production. As soon as Raptor Write moves to version 23, it'll have more stability there for about that. Also, you can try refreshing your Raptor. All right, let's see what happens. See what it says. Ooh, it's kind of a long thing. Okay. Well, that's sassy. I like the beginning of that chapter. Consider starting the chapter with a more impactful scenes, a flashback. No, I'm not doing a flashback. Forget that. Flashbacks suck. Well, I don't like them. Chapter 2 lacks a clear purpose. The passionate moment feels out of place. I should probably, okay. Did it come up with a problem for each? Did any chapter get told it was fine? Chapter 4. Bit long, is a bit disjointed. Feels a bit tangled. It's quite comical, doesn't feel organic to the story. The focus on Mr. Bennett's... I don't like this model. This model is not nice. I don't agree with any of this. This is not fun. The good news is I know it doesn't think, and it's just deciding what it should be. This chapter feels a bit like a soap opera. Thank you. I write soap operas. I write melodrama. Okay. It just doesn't understand what the assignment was. Wow. This chapter is the most engaging of the story so far. This thing is mean. I'm going to see the chat on this. Oh my gosh. Al Nelson says, I think it thinks it needs to put a problem for each. Yes, I agree. But this is sassafras. I don't like it at all. Let me zoom in so you guys can see what the chat, what it's writing. This feels a bit disjointed. So I'm going to keep this. So it actually wrote back 3,000 words, 3,100 words. I'm going to thumbs it up and I'm going to let it finish so that it knows. And then I'm also going to open up Open Router just to make sure this is not costing me anything. because I don't really want to pay for sending a bunch of words. Yeah, so see, 0 cost on Gemini Flash Experimental. So I recommend you guys hammer on it because it's free dollars. Now, in order to use any of the experimental ones, you do have to go to your account, and you have to go to settings, and you have to go to the privacy one, and then you do have to turn on model training to allow for it to do that. So if you don't want to, you can toggle this on when you're comfortable, like if you're using an experimental model, and then just remember to come turn it off when you're using other models that you don't want it to train on. Me, I'm like, training is it's like a raindrop in the freaking ocean. I am not afraid of letting it train on my writing. I would prefer that the AIs wrote more like me, as a matter of fact. That would make my life a lot easier. So not every author has that perspective there, but you see that it's free, and it's free. It looks like they are topping it out at $40.97 hardcore. If they're actually hitting it at $4.97, that's an internal limitation, because if you click on this model, you will see that more information about it. It's supposed to have up to 32,000 tokens output. So they're hard limiting it at 4,000. So my guess is if I was in the Google AI Studio, I might be able to get the full 32,000 out of it. Maybe, probably not. They make these models that can do these things, but they're not actually trained to do them. So it's very difficult to get them to actually perform that way. Okay, so we're going to go back to see what it wrote, because it wrote another 3,000 words. Did it just start writing? Chapter 26. It just was like, oh, I'm going to write chapter 26 now. That's interesting. It already had that. Oh, it didn't have it in there to know. And then it has the inquest, and it's doing the inquest. It's just jumping ahead. So I'm going to thumbs that down. Now, this is the what's next thing. I'm going to show you why we are saying that this thing doesn't think. This thing is sassy and mean, because my prompt was, read this, the entire story above, and detail for me for each chapter any problems with the plot or characterization and how to finish the book. Then it gave the story Bible analysis and finishing touches. This is fascinating. Here's a breakdown of chapters highlighting potential problems and suggestions for finishing the story. So it had a problem for every single one of them. No purpose, feels a bit rushed. The focus on the men's conversations feels a bit disconnected from the main plot. I mean, it's just mean. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this document. So right click, duplicate. It'll be at the bottom. You just have to move it up. What's next with a positive prompt? So right here, I'm just going to make a quick change to this prompt. If there are no problems with a chapter, just say what's good about the chapter. So I'm giving it an option now. It doesn't have to find a problem. So I'm going to take this out. We still have everything still toggled on. I've just changed the prompt. Now let's see what mean Google Flash 8B 1.5 experimental says. Okay. It's like, good, here we go. It's got a potential problem. Let's see if it decides there aren't any ones that are problems. The missing list of tasks for the Yuletide ball could be resolved more quickly, or the Countess's request. So good. Clear and concise narrative. Focused on the main conflict. Could be more focused. Apparently, I am not focused as a writer. I'm going to ask it what it means. For that, I'm going to turn off all the toggles. Actually, I'll leave the toggles on because it needs to tell me. What do you mean by a chapter is not focused? What specific writing advice does that correlate to for me to fix the chapter? Give me a clear example. There. Again, free models. Hammer it as much as you want. It's free. it's tricky to define not focused in writing. It boils down to these issues. So I'm finding out what the AI even thinks not focused means. Okay. Too many subplots. A chapter that delves into too many different storylines at once can lose impact. Lack of clear purpose, clear goal, unnecessary details, character development. Here's an example from chapter 5, Buxton Hall, late November. And his land agent, the gentleman that appeared to outage. This is a good start, but it could be tighter. I'm afraid the bridge is washed out on the main drive, but follow me and my man will take you around the game studio show through the park. Now the focus is more direct and the description is more concise. This is also well written. Where are they? What's the purpose of this visit? This is a good example of, okay, some of these comments I don't hate. I think, you guys, I think that this is actually going to be a really good model to edit, like to take something that's not like the first version of an AI, and then it can evaluate it and mark it up for better focus. Since focus is the keyword that AI understands to make something better. And then it brings this stuff here. Okay, I'm going to go back over to the window, to the chat. Are you all seeing this? There's no comments. Okay. So I guess nobody else is seeing how it is actually able to give you some really important information about editing. So let's see how well it writes. That'll be the next test here. So I'm going to toggle off everything. Boop. I'm going to hop into chapter 26. And I already have like continue here about what happens, of what I want next. So I'm going to turn on the story Bible so far, and I'm going to go ahead and let this continue the story. So let's go. I have written you a letter. So, yep, and it's so fast, you guys. That was so fast. Indeed, they are. Okay, so I'm going to thumbs it up. So that very quickly, like with a click of a button, wrote 500 words, which was about what I wanted for this part. All right. And now let's see if it can. Let me go to my settings and turn off so I can figure out how to spell surreptitiously. Okay, it's fixed. Let's go ahead and see here in case I don't survive this. Nonsense. This is a false alarm. You will be fine. But what if something goes wrong? This is just a false alarm. We will be fine. We will have our child and we will be together for many years to come. Elizabeth is not her wife. Okay, so it's not smart. Anne chuckled, a soft sound that filled the room with warmth. I'm sure she will. She's a remarkable woman, Elizabeth, and I'm so glad she is your wife. Richard leaned in and kissed her again, a tender touch that spoke volumes. She is my love, my life, and I'm so grateful to have her. He paused, his voice dropping to a whisper. And I'm so grateful to have you, Anne, my love, my life. Okay, so Anne, Richard, and Elizabeth just went poly. So that's something new for 1813. But you know, Elizabeth, she is not one to be deterred by such petty concerns. I don't think that this is a very good. It didn't quite keep it the way I wanted, the logic. So I'm going to actually Command Z. So I have the information in there that I wanted. I'm going to take this out, even though it's free. I'm going to go back to Claude real fast, just because I want it to kind of sound like the rest of it. So let's go ahead and have Claude go. What if the baby's not healthy? Actually, other way around. but there's more. But with the situation, indeed. Always, my love. Okay, yeah, that's a little bit better. That's a lot better. And then I just have to make minor changes to this because it's Anne who received a letter, not her, not him. So all I got to do is go after a moment. He asked, would you like me to tell you the latest about the Darcys? Perhaps it would take your mind off things. Not things, the baby. The baby. Actually, she began. Take this out. False pain clenched across her abdomen. Contraction. She's in false labor. She's having Braxton Hicks. She mentioned Mr. Darcy's surgery, Mr. Benny's surgery. They will not be in time for my delivery. Nodded. Yes, but there's more happening. With that brother of mine that Elizabeth might not have written to you. I'm going to say shared with you. Seems his lordship has been paying rather inappropriate attention to Kitty Bennett. Kitty, but she's so young, indeed. They've decided to bring the Bromingtons to London with them, partly to keep an eye on James and partly to protect Kitty. That sounds like a... It's like a disaster. It sounds like a modern word. Define disaster. See more. And yeah, that's why it was used back then, but I don't think it was used as the way that we would say it. I think maybe disastrous. That sounds more 1811. And now I can go disastrous. Yep, disastrous. And then when I do this, you can see that that was much more popular in 1800 than disaster. Small little things make a difference. Disastrous. The last time he lived in London, and she's going to have a thing. It is this and this and this. Nope, wrong one. Okay, go back. Yeah, I like 105. This should not be this. This should be a M dash. Control Shift. Alt Shift in that. Okay, Alt Shift in that. That's what it is. Alt Shift. And then your side. Making his wife pause. Wretched. And a problem we do in a potential scandal we do not need with the inquest. But at least Georgiana has behaved. Elizabeth mentioned as much in her letter, counting it a blessing. Stroking his wife's arm, Richard began talking absentmindedly. The situation's being what it is. The Bergman. The younger is better to look at, but the elder controls the estate. There we go. I'm changing it. Shook her head. Surely she cannot be that mercenary. Richard nodded, squeezing her hand. She has changed. Indeed, she is. But will find her way, and I've seen stranger matches find success. Just as our strange courtship for years led us here. She said with a yawn. Precisely where I want to be. Okay, that's so cool. That's cute. That's a cute little scene. 1600. Perfect. Okay, we'll update that over here. Boop, 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 boop. I'm not going to do the Glebe scandal. I'm going to have them do that in book 7. That's a book 7 situation. Because Mr. Collins can't take Longbourn if he's going to jail. But we can also have it be leverage. Let me check the chat, see where we're at. Okay. The earlier models, McKinley asked, she missed it, what model am I using? I was using, when it was so mean to me, I was using the brand new Gemini Flash model, the 8B. It was so mean. It was very mean. But, you know, I wasn't prepared for that meanness, but now that it's there, I think we have some experimentation to do with that model this weekend, I think, and next week, because I think that model can take raw AI and like mark it up for everything to make it better. I can't say that its advice was wrong. I kept the advice, don't worry, because I'm actually going to read this whole book from start to finish. And you can best believe I'm going to be looking to see if things are choppy. And then it's also going to go to my editor on Monday. And if it's choppy, she'll let me know. So I'm not saying I agree with it 100%. I'll have to evaluate as a human, and I'll get back to you on whether or not I think that model was able to match what a human wanted. But yeah, it's sassy. It's very sassy. Okay, we are at 12:30. It's time. It's time for the last scene. So I worked on chapter 26. I have no idea how this is going to go, but I did start a little bit with chapter 26. Chapter 27 has the information here on what to happen here. And I'm going to let Google do it. Let's do the sassafras pants. We'll turn off the various prompts. We'll turn off this stuff down at the bottom. because I'm sending it all. I'm sending every chapter, all of the outlines. I'm sending 91,000 tokens. So it has an outline. It has the actual chapters. We'll use the experimental and we'll have it make a plan. In chapter 27, make a plan to write this scene. Let's see what it can do with its sassy mouth. I don't like it when the models. Okay. It's doing all this. It's coming up with carriage 1 and carriage 2 and yeah. I'm going to say, oh, I lost that, but that's okay. Include specific plot points, dialogue, and this is the last chapter of this book, sort of signaling all that is to be resolved in book 7. And finally letting it foreshadow. Yeah, we'll make that a surprise in book 7. Go. Okay, chapter 7. No, they're not in a separate carriage. No. Okay, that's my bad with the prompting. Stop. Oh, the stop button is not working. Okay, there we go. Mr. Chairman, it's just going to go off. Well, it started to write all the chapters, and we don't want that. One carriage. The Matlocks and the Gardners. Five carriages all together, plus wagons of goods. It's a whole caravan. To write this chapter and only this chapter, only chapter 27 is the last chapter of this book. Next book in this series. Okay, let's see if that makes it a little bit clearer. Okay, it's just writing it. Well, we can do that. No, I want a plan. Write the plan only. Free model. That's why I'm just sending it all over. And this is why it's hard when you have 90,000. When you have like 90,000 tokens, your last line needs to be the final instruction of what it needs to do. So there we go. Oh, we will be stronger together. No. I'm going to thumbs this up. And I'm going to go to Claude, not with everything turned on. No. That's expensive. That's expensive. Chapter 27. I'm going to highlight this. Oh, you know what? Dagnabbit. I just finished chapter 26. It's not in the story. It's not in the story Bible. That's my bad. Okay. This is why I can't wait for Rexy 2.0. Story Bible so far, chapter 26. Well, here, we can still use Gemini. Characters, settings, and plot points. There we go. So it's just going to do chapter 26. Cool. Thumbs up. And we have this information. Bring that into the story Bible so far. I have to make sure I remember to do that. The future of Rexy 2.0 will do that automatically when you like say a chapter's final. It'll just like make the story Bible for you and throw it in there. And I trust it to get the details right. It for a small chapter, it can get it correct. So turn that off, come back to chapter 27. Take this out. Let's try this again. Turn it all. I'm going to let Claude do this. Yeah, so it just needs the story Bible so far. Let's go with Claude. Write the plan only. Yep, this is perfect. Save. As she leaves Pemberley for the first time. Feeling like she is leaving home. Oh, that's so sweet. I love all that. Okay, cool. Project, let's go ahead and turn on so it knows a little bit of the writing sample. So we'll have like 23 or 22 and 23 and 24 on. There we go. Write chapter 27 in the same tone and style and length as previous chapters. Which model am I using right now? Claude. Okay. Go gadget. That story Bible is not small. It's like 16,000 tokens. Are you ready, my dear? Yeah, I'll change all of this. Hive of activity. Jane's not going. Okay. Revise this. Excuse me. I'm just going to tell it to rewrite it. Rewrite chapter 27 and make all character dialogue interesting, short, no monologues, high character interaction, and avoid sappy, we're all in this together. No one in this scene thinks everything is going to be okay, and they are not going to reassure. It is about stiff upper lip. We are doing what we can. And like a mini army going into battle with conflict as to who is the leader. Remember that Jane is remaining home, is remaining back. Only Mr. Bingley is going. Darcy or Matlock. have Lydia, have Mrs. Bennet still upset that her Lydia is not going to London, and Mary explain, I'm not going for a season or a ball, Mama, but to help Lizzie find a parson. Okay, there we go. I may not have realized that was like one of those lines. So it's going to rewrite it. This is expensive, I know. Shall we? Of course. Good. We can't afford any missteps. We'll handle this as we've discussed. Oh, my poor nerves. Mama, please. But surely you'll attend some social events. Okay. Yes, that's better. We'll take this all out. What do we have? Okay, so now I'm going to highlight. I'm going to say, okay, rewrite and expand it, make it longer. Expand chapter 27 so that it is longer, shows more of the servants and actual preps for the caravan. There should be conversation once the carriages start going, and looking out the window at Baslowdale. Okay. You check the chat, see what's going on. We're in this together. Yeah, we're always in this together. I agree with you, Kimberly. We're in this together. No, we're not in this together. There is nobody in this together. Everybody's unhappy. If it's the last book in the series, yes, then everybody can be happy together. But right now, nobody's happy together at all. Not even a little bit. Okay. Concerts. We'll be fortunate. Peaceful or not. Yes. Things with the Archbishop. The Archbishop of Canterbury is Darcy's godfather. As Baslowdale, that was in book 3. As Baslowdale faded from view, replaced by the rolling countryside. Oh, we have it in there. No. Yeah, I like this. Taking it slow this time because she's pregnant, he said softly. I won't take offense for such a kindness, she answered with a laugh. Mary gazed at the two of them, confused, not knowing the many arguments and other activities the Darcys usually engaged in during a carriage ride. Oh my goodness. Because, yeah, I'm just remembering things that happened in the previous books. I'm going to take that out. No. She thought. Home is with Fitzwilliam. Aww. Okay. 2307, and I can edit it or not fully 2307. Okay, so we have this, but I actually like, so stood in the kitchen. Yeah. And then I want their original one. I am kit bashing manually right now. This is going to be so much easier. Footman and what's the other coach? Scurried down below in the gravel, adding trunks and baskets of goods. The length of the train appeared as though royalty were on the move and not merely 5 branches of one family. She looked away as she noticed a guard of men on horses with their arms clearly visible, taking position at the front and back of the train, of the caravan. Yeah, there wasn't really any safety when you're traveling back then. Carefully. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. And the children's things? Mrs. Bingley's nurse has everything the little ones will need. And no staying behind. All taken care of. Okay, this doesn't make sense because he's with her. Why is she heading back upstairs? That doesn't even make sense. Spoke with Dr. Matthews and the head butler in the corner. Elizabeth waited patiently for their conversation to end before accepting her husband's arm. I trust the packing is complete, he asked, his voice low and urgent. She nodded. Yes, my dear. Good. Our protection and route is confirmed with horses at all of the inns. You'd have to send horses in events. Okay. But they'll surely be more interested in the inquest. Oh, my dear Mary, you underestimate the ton's appetite for scandal. The carriages are ready, sir. Thank you. We've already loaded the luggage like 6 times. Loaded warming blocks and blankets. There we go. Oh, my poor nerves. And leaving poor Lydia behind. Echoed in the call as final farewells were exchanged. But Jane stayed her hand. No, you must go. Mama is my responsibility now. Jane said. But surely. Okay. You should be going to. And left her mother to her sister to deal with. She had enough to be concerned about. And the carriages had yet to roll 1 mile away. Act herself from Kitty and who else is staying behind? No one else, really. Just Kitty. She found Dr. Cooper. Of course. Oh, for crying out loud, that is not it. Why we are stopping so often. I just spoke to my driver, and you have added 2 whole days to the journey. The expense is mine, uncle. We'll do what needs to be done. Okay, the Bingleys and the Bromingtons in one. That's good. Matlocks in another, and the Cardiners in the fourth. As the caravan of marriage began to move, I wouldn't count on it. Her brother by marriage took pity. We'll find the time. Completely dreary. To his wife. Okay. Good. It's done. 2409. 2409. That's it. We did it. Project. Did I get these captured too? The proposal. 1749. 1600. Yep. They're there. So 58,308. Ta-da! That's it. It's done. It's done. It's done. It's done. Oh, and I like that last line. You know, home is with Fitzwilliam, and yeah, I'm ready to do chapter 7. I'm ready to do book 7. I started that book 2 years ago, guys. 2 years ago. So that's how you finish a book. You just go, okay, it's good. All right. So we have one last little thing to do before I wrap this up. A couple of things. Because I always forget. Let's, number one, save again later. I will turn off the chapters, turn on Story Bible 1, turn on chapter 27, come over here to, I think it's this one I did. Yeah, for chapter 27. So I can delete all the rest of this and let that run. I've got to put my final counts. Because we definitely did do some like expensive prompting at times because I just wanted to get things done. The disputed land. Good, good, good. Thumbsing it up. Taking all of this. Throwing it over here. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I have my story Bible so far now. It is 14,387 words, but that's way less tokens at 19,000 than sending the whole thing. If I wanted to send the whole thing, which I can actually delete these things now. Yeah, I'm not the what's next, delete chat. Okay. Story notes. Yep, don't need that. Delete that. Okay. The potential extra scene. I probably will end up writing an extra scene at some point, but not right now. That's going to be on like final edits once I figure that out. Okay. So here's the contrast of why I send the Story Bible so far. Story Bible so far is 19,000 tokens. If I toggle everything on, toggle off the prompts, and toggle off these things at the end, to send the entire book with this, well, I'll take the Story Bible off. To send the entire book without the Story Bible, if I do the prompt preview, is 95,000 tokens. That means 10 times as a million tokens of input. So these models that charge, $3, $6, $15 for 1 million tokens of input, if you're constantly sending that whole book, it's going to jack it up really fast. But when I just need to give it a little bit of context, I'm going to toggle it all off and I go Story Bible and maybe the last chapter or two before I run it, like the last 2 chapters in the Story Bible, that's only 25,000 tokens. That lets you prompt 4 times more often than if you were to send the whole book. It's a 4x savings. So that's a really important prompting skill to understand when you are working with Raptor Write. Can you toggle all the documents on with these big models like Gemini and Claude? Sure, but you're going to pay for it. And that's just going to eat your money. So let's see where we are. I don't even know for the writing what I wrote today. I guess I did this one. That one got counted in previously, so I'm going to just leave it be. So I'm just going to add 2409 here. So this was the later hour. Actually, I'll put it here because I did live. Plus this one. No. Plus this one. And I'm going to say 2 hours because we did 2 hours of live today. And the cost is more than that. So let's go look at my cost activity. Okay, so today it's $1.84. Thankfully, I did it $1.84. So it only cost me a few extra more cents and 13 cents. So grand total, this entire experience this week, 23,852 words. Actually, I'm just going to zoom in. Check that puppy out. This is what you too can do with Raptor Write. This is 1 week. 1 week of work. You guys saw me do it live the whole time. There's one part where you didn't see 1 hour with me that I did 1,400 words. But 23,850. That's half a novel. That's half a novel in a week. Over 9 hours. I'm just stunned. This is the fastest I've ever been able to write in my life. The only other time I've ever written 23,000 words in a single day was with dictation. And that was a 18-hour slog. And it was exhausting and awful. And I don't recommend it. 1 star. Now for those almost 24,000 words, $9.24 is what I spent this week with my AI. Now, a lot of times I was greedy with my AI prompting because I was live and I just wanted to get good material out, get it done. There's probably more opportunity to save money. I just wasn't set up. A good way to save money, for example, is Wexy 2.0 will have a lot of the functionality of Raptor Write, plus some added functionality that the FFA members know about. That'll allow me to bring in a fine tune. This weekend, I'm going to be finishing up my fine tunes for 4.0 and 4.0 mini. Those can already go into regular Wexy. Those are ridiculously cheaper. And it'll write like me more. And I start a class on fine tunes on next week, Monday. I think we start on fine tunes. So as Kimberly says, sometimes you have to decide between time versus money, because time costs me money. If it takes me an extra 2 hours, the better models save massive amounts of time editing and fixing things. Yeah, a lot of these better models that were more expensive, I didn't have to make as many edits. But if I had taken 18 hours versus 9 hours, that would have been a real cost. That would be a bigger cost for me than saving money of $9, if that makes I think all of us, our time is worth more than $9 per hour. So this was $9 total for 9 hours. So I spent $1 an hour using AI, and got a whole half of a book done this week. 2650 was my average words per hour of final good draft. It will have one more final edit going through, but that won't be to substantially rewrite. It'll just be to clean things up, where you guys saw me doing a lot of this live already, where it's no, you can't respond back. I'm sure that somewhere in there's a "we're in this together." It got somewhere left in one of those chapters because it kept repeating that. Rick DiCarlo says, hell yeah, worth it. But the total cost per word is 0.0004. Again, if we had to do this for a full novelization of 60,000, because this represents what it took both. Why is it J43? Hold on. Let me see what this is. J39. the cost divided by J37, the total word. So this is the cost per word. And let me just format that and make sure like it goes all the way out. Number, and I want custom. No, it's going to go, okay. Custom currency. I'm going to go with this. Apply. No, that did not work. Format number. The custom number is like this. Okay, but I want more. I want to get all the way to like one more thing on the decimal there, because I know it's rounding it. It might even be cheaper. So let's go to format number. Custom number is like this, $. So custom currency. I think I just go to the US. Or not. Okay. So it was $, pound, dot, pound, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Apply. Nope. How did I do this? Number. Oh dear. Custom number format. That's what I want. It's this. That's what I want. So now we're going to like more decimals. There we go. And that's what I thought. It's actually not 4. It's 0.000387 So if you equal this times however long your book is. So let's do this over here. Let's go with a 25,000 word novella. Let's go with a 50,000 word novel. Let's go with a 75,000 longer novel. And let's go with 100,000 epic fantasy. Although that's on the shorter end for that. So if I go equals this number times that number equals 50,000 times this number, this one times this number. These are just my methodologies, you know, the different models that I used. If I was to continue in the same kind of manner that you guys watched me write all this week, those would be the costs. And I'm going to go ahead and convert these to an actual currency because it does need to round it for this. So we're going to go with currency. So there you go. That would be the cost. Doing it this way. So I think that that's still way cheaper because this was me using expensive models. That's way cheaper than using, say, a ghostwriter or anything like that. Plus you have full control. So let me go over to the studio and see what everyone says. Thank you, Al, about it. Yep. And then Kimberly. Oh, I see that new button. I see. I'm working on a 140K fantasy right now. Ugh. And then Al says it's not under format. There's an arrow you can change. So what would be some strategies to save even more money? You saw me sometimes go read all this stuff and make a plan. The cheaper models can do that. Claude Mini or Mini can make a plan. What else? Haiku can make a plan. Haiku is really cheap and smart. Google 1.5 is really cheap and is smart enough to make a plan. I even would say 1.5 is probably also able to make a plan too, if it was given a little bit of instruction. Flash, yeah, super great at making a plan. And when you make the plan is when you need all of that data sent. And then you can also turn on some chapters and things for those cheaper models to make you a first draft of the chapter. And then you can just have the plan and the chapter, highlight it, and have a smarter model go, oh, I see the plan. I see this chapter is really crappily written. Let me write you a longer one. So then you're only sending it about 4,000 tokens or whatever. I prefer to turn the story Bible on so that the smarter model has more knowledge about the whole book so it can bring in gags or reconnect to things in the previous time. Like you'll notice anytime I turn the story Bible on, I couldn't remember like Georgiana's baby's name, but I knew it was in the story Bible. And when I was like, and her baby, the smart models were immediately able to say Thomas because it knew it was in the story Bible. So these are some different techniques of writing and prompting. And if this goes over your head, join the FFA. It went over all of our heads when we started. And now we're all just like AI masters. I do feel like an AI master. Okay. So I'm going to go celebrate. Again, the tool that I was using was raptorwrite.com. I was specifically using Baby. And let me stop the banner and give some of your guys' comments here, some airwaves a little bit. So Mania says, I planned 50K for my fantasy. I'm at 4 to 5K and I realize I'm always halfway through. That's good. A 50K fantasy is not usually a word count that sells very well in that thing. So it was supposed to be 100. Yeah, it's supposed to be. Kimberly says that Flash and Haiku are great. Mania, I feel for you. Been there doing that. And then Mania says, I mean, it's fantasy. So I was absolutely wrong with 50K, but boy, did the story run away. So you're just more of a pantser with the thing. And sometimes that happens. You can only see half the book. Then you get halfway through and you're like, I see the other half now. It's like you're climbing the hill and you can see the whoosh down. So that's good. Exactly. Yep. Kimberly says, my last book was 160K. And here's the plot twist. It was supposed to be 100K. But that happens. I had novellas that turned into novels. This was supposed to be a 10,000 word short story. Well, now it's a 3-book series. Deal with it. Aw, thank you, Ikello. Who is the woman? You, the woman. Make sure you check out Future Fiction Factory. That channel does amazing things with Raptor as well. I'm not the only one who writes live. We're going to have more live writing on this channel because this is how I finish books. Stay tuned for some motorsports romances that are going to be Formula One that I'll be writing live, which, speaking of which, the Italian Grand Prix is this weekend, Monza. I've been doing my work because I get to go watch the practice sessions next. I'm so excited. As for people commenting about, their statuses or whatever on other tools and everything like that, you can usually find some use for those tokens or those credits or whatever the situation is. Nothing says that you can't find a prompt and just hammer on it and make it use, or just let it go. I mean, we're all in a space where we were in a time, and we still are, of research and development. And sometimes you invest in something that doesn't pay dividends, and that's okay, so don't beat yourself up if you're like, well, I like Raptor Write and I feel like I wasted time on something else, whatever that something else was, because you didn't. Steph reminds me all the time, because I get mad at myself that I had a school that I was teaching in January of 2023. And then I went to go work for another company. And then I lost momentum. I was there for 90 days and realized it was not the right fit for me at all. And then I started the Future Fiction Academy. And I do wonder, well, I could be so much more ahead. But not exactly, because the people who came and joined the Future Fiction Academy with me and started it, I actually got relationships and met with them because of that job I took for 90 days. So don't ever beat yourself up for things that you did. It all contributed to where you are right now. And we're all just making progress one day at a time. All right. So quick question in the chat before I sign off. Did these times work for you, or would you guys prefer me to, for next week, maybe change the time to the evening hours to kind of help other people have time to come to these lives? So I always thought about trying to alternate maybe each week when I actually write live, or maybe alternate per project or something. Kimberly Gordon says, I tend to audit my stuff every 6 to 12 months and see if it's worth continuing to use it. Same. Okay, so everyone's like, I like morning. This is a great time, and great time for me. This. Okay, so what I might try to do, I mean, it makes sense that it's a great time since you guys are the ones here. What I might try to do is maybe do some plan a weekend or something where I write in the evenings or something for people who can't make it. Because it's daytime for us right now, but it's middle of the night for Australia. So, or maybe I just get a wild hair, and on days, because I already for the FFA oftentimes have to teach in the morning, teach in the evening. On days I don't have to do that, I can just write in the morning and write in the evening. Would that be a problem for everybody if it was I I wrote one session in the morning for you, and then it's pre-recorded of the previous session. And then you get double the sessions. You just may not be able to attend live to everyone. 10 a.m. my time's the earliest you can come, McKinley. I hear you. I'm just trying to be respectful because we have people in Vietnam and Australia, and like the FFA is truly it's truly worldwide. So, and I'll always recap what happened. Okay, Dana says that her weekends are Tuesday and Wednesday, so she'd love some on those days. Funnily enough, Tuesday is one of my weekend days too. Well, I try to, but then I usually have meetings. All right, everyone, I'm not going to drag out this live because we're just chatty. Make sure you join the intro to free class if you have not. There's always information there about community classes. Next week, we have the amazing Lynn Jordan, who will be teaching a community class on Raptor Right, and joining also... actually, I think Ikella's off next week because I think he's going on vacation. But then he'll be back. Or maybe there's one more. I got to look at the schedule. Nope, he's gone. He's gone. So he'll be back on the 12th. So we have Lynn Jordan picking it up next week on Tuesdays, I think, at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. So that'll be better there. Thanks, Stacy. He won't be here the next week. Got it. And for my FFA members, we will be working on fine tunes next week. If you are not a member of the Future Fiction Academy and would like to learn about fine tunes, come join us. We're crazy. It's fun. And it's a 7-day free trial. So come learn. And that's what I've got. And you guys, I finished a book live. This is the first book I've ever finished live. Live for everyone to see. Book done. And yeah, we're all jealous. So Ikella's going to go celebrate on my behalf. He's going to Hawaii. No, I'm kidding. He's going to Hawaii with his wife and celebrating, and they should. I'm excited for both of them. But yeah, Kimberly says France sounds fun too. We're learning French, and I have a good French author friend who's invited me to come visit. So I might make that happen next year. So, finished the book. AI, finish this novel. You can do it too. All right, everyone. Good luck. Good luck with your writing this weekend, and I will see you guys next week.